Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. So in this video, we're going to discuss Leetcode problem of the day, and today's problem is longest common subsequence, and it is a medium level problem. So basically this problem is a very standard DP problem, and what this problem says is we have been given two strings and we have to find the longest common subsequence between them. So subsequence is basically another string which can be derived from the input string by removing any number of characters from that without changing the relative ordering of the remaining characters. So let me just write it down for you if you are not familiar with it. So if let's say A, B, C, D, E, this is my initial string. So what I can do is I can choose any of these positions, right? I might choose this one, then this one and this one, and I can write it like this. I might not even choose even a single character, and this empty substring is also a subsequence of this particular string, right? Now the only constraint is I do not want to change the relative ordering of these elements. So if B was present first, D should be present first, then D, then E, right? But I can choose any number of elements from it and any of those elements from it, right? This is what my subsequence basically is. Now I've been given two different strings and I want to find out what is the longest common subsequence. So let's say this is A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D and E, and the next one is A, C, E. So we have A, C, E. In these two strings, let's say I take this whole A, C, E, I can take this particular A, this particular C and this particular E. So the longest common subsequence is A, C, E itself, right? Now let's say we have some other thing. So there is no example, better example. So let me just modify this one. Let's say I had B, A, E, right? So this is my second string, let's say, right? So the longest common subsequence in this particular case should be B from here, and then after B there does not exist A in the first string, so I can take this particular E, this E. So the longest common subsequence will be DE in this particular case. Now we have to figure out how do we actually solve this problem. This is a very standard DP problem, as I said, and I'm just quickly going to define the DP states which I'm going to use here. So I am going to use DP of ij, a double dimensional DP. I is going to denote current position in string 1, and j is going to denote current position in string 2. Now how does this help us? DP of ij together will denote the best answer if I start from I in string 1 and j in string 2. So basically I am using position I in string 1 and position j in string 2. If these are the starting points, what could be my best answer? This is my question. Now I'll give you a very simple example and you will be able to realize how this really helps us. So let's say we have AA in both of the strings and then we have some unknown values, right? I don't know what those values are for right now, but I just know that these characters are same. Let's say I is here and J is here. Now if you are given this particular situation, what is going to be your answer? In this particular situation, I can definitely say I can take this particular A in my common subsequence and then figure out what is the best answer in this particular subsequence from the next position in both of the strings, right? So what I am saying is, let's say the current character is same. I am not aware what are the characters after these two strings. Let's say string 1 this is and string 2 this one is, right? I am only aware of the current character that they are same. I do not know what are the next characters in both of the strings. What I can try to do is I can take this particular character in the subsequence, mark its length as 1, right? And then find out the best answer from the remaining sequence, right? So this is exactly what we will be trying to do. So let me just write it here. I'm going to write the recursive helper function. So let's say I have my helper function here, int helper. Then I'm going to have two inputs, int I and int j as discussed, and then I'm just going to have if dp of ij. So before that, let me just also define the base cases so that it is easier for you. So we discussed this particular thing, what happens in this particular case. Now let me just tell you that you have an empty string and string 2 be, let's say, anything. String 2 is anything, right? What is going to be the longest common subsequence? In this particular case, since I cannot take any characters from the first string, the longest common subsequence is always going to be 0. So this is going to act as our base case. What is our base case? Let me just tell you, write it more formally. If one of the strings is empty, then longest common subsequence LCS is 0, right? And if you were to write it more formally in the terms of code, then I is equals to n or j is equals to m, right? So basically n is the length of the first string and m is the length of the second string. So if I reaches n, if you consider zero based indexing, if I reaches n or j reaches m, that means we have exhausted one of the strings, or it might happen that both of the conditions are true together. In all of these cases, our answer will definitely be 0 because one of the strings does not have any characters. So that is the exact base condition I'm going to write here. If I is equals to n or j is equals to m, I'm just going to return 0 here. Right. Now if dp of ij has already been computed and it is not equal to -1, I'm just going to return dp of ij. Otherwise, I would want to calculate dp of ij. Let us see how we can calculate it. If, as I've already explained, if let's say string 1 of I is equals to string 2 of j, then what I'm going to return is return dp of ij as 1 plus, because I'm going to take the current character as the common character in the final subsequence, helper of I plus 1 and j plus 1. Right. So you can clearly see what I've tried to do. I have taken the current character, which was the common character in both of them, and then moved both of my pointers to the next position, so I can try to figure out what is the best answer in this particular string. Right, because I've taken this current character as a common character and I want to figure out the remaining of the answer. Right. Now what I'm going to do is, otherwise if both the characters are not same, I only have two options. If you see it clearly, I only have two options. You will realize it when I write it once. So it is going to be max of helper of I plus 1 j, comma helper of I j plus 1. Right. So now you might be able to understand it yourself what I'm trying to do. Let me just correct it here. It's return. So what I'm actually trying to do is, let's say we discuss the case when both of the characters are same, but it might also happen that both of the characters are not same. Let's say it is A and C. Now what can be the best answer in this particular situation, right? So I know that both A and C cannot be present in my subsequence, right? Because they are both at the same position. I have to choose one of them, right? So I can either take A and assume that sometime later it might be a part of my subsequence, or I might choose to take C and assume that sometime later it might be a part of my subsequence. I'm not saying it is definitely going to be a part, but it might be a part of my subsequence, right? So now what I do is, either I can skip this particular character or I can skip this particular character. So if let's say I and j are like this, I would do only one of those things. Either I will move I to the next position or I will move j to the next position. And if I have two ways, what I do in DP, if I want to maximize my answer, I'm just going to take the maximum of those two ways. It is as simple as it looks now. So you see, when you try to visualize these DP problems, it becomes very simple, right? So what we have done is, we have done nothing. If both of the characters are same, I'm going to take it in the common subsequence and I'm just going to add 1 and just find out what is the best answer from the next positions I plus 1 and j plus 1. If the current character is not same, I'm going to take the maximum of I plus 1 j and I j plus 1. Why am I doing this? It might happen that this character is present in the final subsequence, so I'm going to skip this particular character and move j to the next position. But it might also very well happen that this character is present in the final subsequence, and in that particular case I need to skip this character and move I to the next position. This is how you should be thinking about these DP problems, and you can figure out your answer. So now if I just show you my final code, so what I've done is I've created n and m as the size of these particular strings text1 and text2. Now I've created a size of DP n plus 1 cross m plus 1. Now I'm going to set the base conditions that for all the positions where n is present and for all the i's, I'm going to set it as 0. For all the i's where the second part is m, I'm going to set it as 0. So you see, I'm considering those conditions where n is completely exhausted or the string 1 is exhausted, and then where m is completely exhausted or the string 2 is exhausted. Now you can ignore these for loops for now. We're just going to focus on this particular part. What happens if text1 of I is equals to text2 of j? I'm going to set dp of ij as 1 plus dp of I plus 1 j plus 1 and dp of ij as maximum of dp of I plus 1 j and dp of ij plus 1. This is the only thing that you have to do here. Now at the end you can just return your dp of 0 0. This would be your final answer. Why is this my correct answer? Because initially I am going to start from the first characters in both of these strings, right? Now this is the only thing that you need to understand here. I hope that this particular solution was clear to you. Let me just quickly submit this and show you that this particular code works. So you see this passes all the test cases and this solution is absolutely correct. I hope that you guys were able to understand the solution. If you guys did, then consider dropping a like on this video and don't forget to share thoughts in the comments, because your engagement with this particular video really helps the YouTube algorithm to understand that this video is actually helpful for you, and it will be able to reach much more people like you who want to keep solving new problems. So that is it for today. Till the next video drops, keep coding, stay safe, bye bye.